What do you want most in life? Ladies and gentlemen, I have not come here to entertain you. I've come here to awaken you because I believe deeply, wholeheartedly, that within every man and woman listening to my voice lies a power greater than anything they've ever been told. And if you will listen to me, not just with your ears, but with the fire in your soul, then I will place in your hands the key to your freedom. Let me begin with a simple question, but I urge you, don't answer it with your lips. Answer it with your mind. What do you want most in life? Is it wealth? Is it stability? Is it a thriving business? A peaceful home? Financial freedom? Or simply the chance to live the life you know you were born to live? Or perhaps you're unsure, because it's been far too long since you've asked yourself that question honestly. Now hear me closely. I did not write Think and Grow Rich to teach you how to get rich. I wrote it to teach you how to master your own mind. Because I learned from men like Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, and Thomas Edison this undeniable truth. Success does not begin with money. It begins in the mind. It is not born from luck. It is not a result of privilege. It is not granted by circumstance. It is the product of a formula, a collection of 13 principles, a blueprint of thought discovered through the lives of over 500 of America's most successful men and women, whom I studied for over 25 years. But I must warn you, what I'm about to share with you will not be easy, because it does not flatter your ego. It challenges it. It will ask you to look in the mirror and declare, if I am poor, it is not the fault of the world. If I have not succeeded, it is because I have not yet learned how to think properly. You may resist this idea. You may reject it. You may want to blame your circumstances, your past, your parents, your education, your government, your luck. But when you are ready to stop blaming and start owning, in that moment, you become free. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what degrees you hold. I care about only one thing. Do you truly want to change your life? Because if you do, if you hunger for it the way a man in the desert craves water, then I will show you the way. And I will walk with you, one principle at a time. Now the choice is yours. Will you continue to live as you've always lived? Or will you rise with a new mind and write a new story for your life? Make your choice. Because I am ready to unveil the first of the 13 principles of success. And we shall begin with the most vital of them all. Principle number 1, desire, the starting point of all achievement. Let me say that clearly and without hesitation. Weak desire brings weak results. Just like a small fire produces little heat. But when your desire is strong, when it burns hot inside your soul, that's when the universe begins to move. That's when your mind becomes sharp. Your actions become focused. Your will becomes unshakable. And suddenly, things begin to shift. Every great fortune ever built, every invention, every empire, every masterpiece, it all began with one thing, a burning desire in the mind of one man or one woman who refused to let it die. It wasn't talent, it wasn't luck, and it sure wasn't privilege. It was the refusal to settle for anything less than the vision they held inside. You see, desire is not a wish. It's not hope. Wishing is passive. Hoping is polite. But desire, true, burning, unrelenting desire, that is the first step to power. Because desire speaks to your subconscious mind. It gives orders. It sets direction. It demands action. And the universe responds to that kind of energy. Let me give you a story. My own son, Blair, was born without ears. The doctors said he would never hear. They said he would never speak. But I made a decision. I would not accept that as truth. From the time he was an infant, I planted one belief deep inside him. Over and over again, I told him, you will hear, you will speak. You will live a full and normal life. I refused to accept the limits others placed on him. And through faith, through persistence, and yes, through desire, that boy grew up to do exactly what the doctor said he could never do. Today, he hears. Today, he speaks. Today, he thrives. That is the power of desire. Now let me ask you a question. What is it that you want so badly that you would be willing to fight for it, sacrifice for it, and never quit until it's yours? If you cannot answer that question, then I urge you to stop and think. Because until your desire becomes clear, your path will remain uncertain. You must want something so badly that it dominates your thoughts, that it fuels your actions, that it gives you strength when nothing else does. When your desire becomes that strong, no obstacle can stop you. And let me tell you this, a man with intense desire will go further than a man with perfect talent. A woman with burning desire will achieve more than a woman with perfect circumstances. The world does not yield to the clever. It yields to the committed. So do not merely wish for success. Desire it. Claim it. Feed that desire every single day. Let it live in your thoughts. Let it speak in your words. And let it drive your actions. Because desire is where all achievement begins. It is the spark that lights the fire. And now that the fire has started, it's time to feed it with belief. The next principle I will teach you is faith. The kind of faith that makes mountains move. The kind of faith that turns dreams into plans and plans into reality. Principle number 2, faith. The visualization and belief in the attainment of desire. Every great achievement in this world began not just with desire, but with belief. Not belief in the facts, not belief in what others say is possible, but belief in the unseen, belief in something bigger than your doubts, stronger than your fears, and louder than the voices telling you to give up. That, my friends, is faith. Now let me be clear, faith is not blind. Faith is not hoping for a miracle and doing nothing. Faith is the ability to see with your mind what your eyes cannot yet see in the world. It is knowing, not guessing. It is walking forward, even when the path is hidden by fog. When you mix faith with desire, something incredible happens. Your subconscious mind begins to accept your goals as real. And once your subconscious accepts something as true, it begins to work day and night to make it happen. It starts sending ideas. It sharpens your attention. It guides your steps, nudges you, warns you, empowers you. That is not magic. That is your mind, activated by faith. Let me share a truth that has changed countless lives. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But the mind will never believe something unless you teach it to. And the way to teach it is through repeated suggestion, backed by emotion and backed by action. Every day, you must speak your goal. You must affirm it. You must feel it. You must see it, not once, not twice, but daily, until the words become belief, and the belief becomes reality. If you tell yourself often enough that you are a failure, your subconscious will find a way to prove it. But if you tell yourself over and over, with feeling and certainty, that you will succeed, even when there is no evidence yet, your subconscious will begin opening doors. You will attract people. You will notice opportunities. You will see the invisible bridge begin to appear beneath your feet. That is what faith does. It builds the bridge as you walk forward. You don't need to see the entire staircase. You only need to take the first step with faith, because belief backed by desire becomes unstoppable. Faith makes you resilient. Faith keeps you going when you fall. Faith turns setbacks into setups, and faith is what allows the impossible to become inevitable. So I ask you now, what do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about your future? What thoughts are you planting in your mind every single day? Because your beliefs are building your reality. Right now, whether you realize it or not. That's why your success depends not just on what you hope for, but on what you believe deep inside. Because when your belief becomes unshakable, your mind will follow, your body will follow, your results will follow. But here's the challenge. Belief does not grow by chance. It must be created. It must be planted, nurtured, and strengthened day by day, thought by thought. So how do we do that? How do we teach the mind to believe? Even when the world around us hasn't changed yet, how do we shape our internal world so that it begins to shape our external one? The answer is a tool, simple but powerful. And those who master it, master themselves. It is the ability to speak to your own mind, to train it, to direct it. It is the next step on this journey, and it is called autosuggestion. Let us go there. The human mind is fertile ground. It will grow whatever you plant in it. Plant the seeds of hope, and it will grow into vision. Plant the seeds of fear, and it will grow into hesitation and doubt. Your subconscious does not judge. It does not ask if something is true or false, helpful or harmful. It simply accepts what is repeated most. That is why the words you say to yourself matter. And this brings us to one of the most powerful tools available to man, the ability to speak to your own mind, to train it, to direct it, to program it with precision and purpose. This is not hypnosis. This is not magic. It is the principle of autosuggestion. It is the act of repeating statements out loud, with emotion, with clarity, with belief, until your subconscious begins to accept them as reality. And once it accepts them, it begins to act upon them. If you want to be confident, do not wait for the feeling to arrive. Do not wait for circumstances to prove it to you. Speak it into yourself. Say it with power. I am confident. I speak with purpose. I move with certainty. I do not fear mistakes. Say it each morning. Say it before bed. Say it with your shoulders back, your chest open, your voice steady, Say it until it becomes more than words. Say it until it becomes who you are. Because what you say to yourself, again and again, is the blueprint your mind begins to build upon. And this is not theory. This is how champions rise. A great athlete sees victory in his mind before he ever steps onto the field. A visionary entrepreneur speaks his goal long before a single dollar is earned. A performer hears the applause in her head before she ever stands under the lights. They train their minds first, and then the world catches up. Now you may ask, how do I apply this? It begins with clarity. Write down what you want. Write it in detail. Write it in the present tense, as if it is already real. Not I want to earn more money, but I am earning $10,000 a month through work that fulfills me and serves others. Not I want to be free, but I am free. I move through life on my terms. I create value. I live fully. Then, speak those words. Visualize them. See the movie of that life playing in your mind. Every single day, feel the emotions of it. Feel the joy, the pride, the gratitude, and speak it with conviction. Repeat it enough, and your subconscious will begin to believe it. And once it believes, it will act. It will shape your focus. It will alert you to opportunities. It will steer your decisions, often without you even noticing. This is how a new life begins, not with force, not with luck, but with repeated, intentional thought. Do not underestimate this principle. Your mind is always listening, and if you are not telling it what to believe, someone else is. So speak to it, command it, direct it. You are the one holding the pen, and the words you write into your subconscious become the story you live. But belief alone is not enough. Repetition is not enough. The mind needs more. It needs something solid to work with. It needs substance. It needs direction. And so, the question becomes, if the subconscious will act on what you give it, what exactly should you give? What kind of information will strengthen your journey, not distract it? What kind of knowledge will push you forward, not keep you stuck? You don't need to know everything, but you must know the right things. The kind of knowledge that has the power to shape your path decisively. The principles number 4, specialized knowledge. Let's move forward. You've learned to direct your thoughts, to shape belief, to speak with purpose to your own mind. But belief without focus is like fire without fuel. It burns brightly for a while, then it fades. So we come now to the next essential principle, a principle that turns belief into strategy, and strategy into results. This is principle number 4, specialized knowledge. There are 2 kinds of knowledge in this world. The first is general. It fills schools and libraries. It fills the internet and conversations. It is the kind of knowledge that is wide but shallow. It may help you win trivia games, but it rarely helps you win in life. General knowledge is useful, but only when directed by a purpose. The second kind of knowledge is different. It is focused, it is narrow, it is deep, and it is tied directly to a goal. This is specialized knowledge, and those who acquire it, those who apply it, move forward faster than others. Specialized knowledge gives you leverage. It gives you clarity. It allows you to make better decisions, faster, and with confidence. Let me be clear, you do not need to hold all knowledge in your head. Some of the most successful people I've ever studied had very little formal education, but they knew how to find the knowledge they needed. They knew how to bring it into their circle. They hired it, they partnered with it, they studied it, and they used it. They didn't waste time trying to learn everything. They learned what mattered to their mission. And that's what I'm asking of you now. What is your goal? What is your definite chief aim? And what do you need to know specifically to reach it? Not what impresses other people, not what sounds good on paper. What do you need to know to make meaningful progress in your unique calling? Write it down, study it, absorb it. Seek out the best people in that field. Ask questions, read their work, learn from their failures, and most importantly, apply what you learn. Because knowledge itself is not power. Only knowledge that is used becomes power. Do not confuse the two. There are people who know a lot and accomplish very little. And there are people who focus on one thing, apply it with excellence, and achieve more than anyone expected. So make no mistake, the path to success is not about collecting facts. It is about gaining the right knowledge and putting it to work. And when you do that, when your belief is supported by insight, when your desire is fueled by intelligent action, something powerful begins to happen. You begin to move with intention. You begin to speak with authority. You begin to build momentum. But knowledge alone is still not enough, because ideas, even brilliant ones, need form. They need structure. They need a method. They need a plan. And that brings us to the next step in this journey. Because the best idea in the world means nothing if you do not know how to bring it to life. Let's take that next step together. Imagination, the fifth principle of success. Everything you see around you once existed only in someone's mind. The house you live in, the phone in your pocket, the airplane above your head, the music you hear, the businesses you admire, the movements that changed history. They all began as a thought, a vision, a single idea in someone's imagination. Imagination is not just daydreaming. It is not childish. It is not a luxury. It is the workshop of the mind, the place where desire is shaped into form, where belief finds direction, where knowledge becomes creation. There are two kinds of imagination. The first is synthetic imagination. This is when you take old ideas and combine them in new ways. It's how most businesses begin, how strategies are built, how problems are solved. The second kind is creative imagination. This is deeper. It is the flash of inspiration that comes when you're not thinking logically. It is the whisper of intuition, the solution that appears out of silence. It is the connection to something beyond reason. You have access to both, but most people forget how to use them. They stop imagining, they stop creating, they start copying, they start doubting, and their world begins to shrink. Imagination must be exercised. It must be invited. It must be trusted. You begin by creating space for it. Step away from the noise. Spend time in silence. Put the phone down. Go for a walk. Close your eyes and listen to what rises. Then, give it a question, not a small one, a bold one. Ask, how could I do this better? How could I live without limits? What would this look like if I started from scratch? Allow yourself to see possibilities. Do not judge them too early. Let them come freely. Let them surprise you. And when an idea comes, capture it. Write it. Draw it. Say it out loud. Do not worry about perfect. Worry about real. Imagination doesn't give you finished products. It gives you seeds, and it's your job to plant them. Some may not grow. That's fine. But one of them, just one, could change everything. Because imagination unlocks what logic cannot reach. It moves you beyond what is and into what could be. That is why the most successful people protect their imagination. They feed it. They follow it. They act on it. They know that every plan, every invention, every innovation starts first in thought. And now that you've allowed your mind to create, it's time to bring that creation into structure, into steps, into action. Because the best ideas in the world mean nothing if they stay trapped inside your head. Let's begin to build. Organized planning, the sixth principle of success. You've allowed your mind to imagine. You've seen a future that doesn't exist yet, but could. You've captured the seed of a powerful idea, but a seed does not grow by itself. It needs soil. It needs structure. It needs intention. Just like a dream, a vision, a desire. Imagination is where it begins. Planning is where it becomes real. Without a plan, even the most powerful idea remains locked inside the mind. Success does not respond to hope alone. It responds to preparation, to clarity, to deliberate, focused effort. That is why organized planning is not optional. It is essential. It is the blueprint that turns invisible thoughts into visible results. Every great building began as a drawing. Every journey began with a map. And every success story began with a plan. So where do you start? You begin by writing down your goal, not a vague intention. A specific, measurable outcome. What exactly do you want? By when? And what are you willing to do to make it happen? Then, break it down. What are the steps? What resources do you need? What knowledge must you gain? Who can help you? What are the potential obstacles? And how will you respond when they come? Planning is not wishful thinking. It is strategic. It is sharp, structured, real. You must know the cost before you pay the price. And here's something people often forget. No plan is perfect, and that's okay. The purpose of a plan is not to predict every step. It is to create motion, to give your actions direction, to guide your focus forward so you are not scattered, lost, or reactive. As you move, your plan will evolve. You will make adjustments. You will course correct. You will face setbacks. That is not failure. That is the process. If your first plan fails, and it might, create another, change your approach, not your mission. Most people don't fail because their dream was wrong. They fail because they had no real plan, or they gave up too soon. A winner is not the one with the perfect path. It is the one who keeps building, keeps learning, and keeps moving forward. You are not expected to know everything today, but you are expected to take responsibility for what happens next. Even the greatest plans mean nothing if they stay on paper. You must act, even if the step is small, even if you're unsure. Start, because motion creates momentum, and momentum, aligned with line with vision, becomes power. And remember this, you do not have to plan alone. The most successful people in history surrounded themselves with thinkers, builders, doers. They created teams, they gathered perspectives, they built bridges of ideas, they leaned on others where they were weak, and offered their strength in return. Your plan becomes stronger when others believe in it, with you, so be bold enough to design it, and humble enough to share it. Now that you have a plan, it's time to make a decision. Not someday. Now, let's keep going. Decision. The seventh principle of success. Success favors the decisive. Failure follows the hesitant. Indecision is not neutral. It is a decision to stay stuck. It is a silent thief that steals time, energy, and opportunity. You've seen this before. People who have a dream, but never commit. They study, they plan, they talk, they wait, but they never choose. And because they never choose, they never move. And because they never move, nothing changes. The world does not respond to your potential. It responds to your decision. Every great success began the moment someone said, "This is what I will do. I don't have all the answers yet, but I'm in. I'm all in." And once that decision is made, the universe shifts. Doors open. People show up. Energy rises. But without the decision, none of it begins. Now listen carefully. Successful people make decisions quickly and change them slowly. Unsuccessful people make decisions slowly and change them quickly. Why? Because when you know who you are and what you want, you do not need to wait for permission. You don't need everyone to agree. You don't need all the data. You don't need perfect timing. You just need to decide. Not tomorrow. Not after you feel ready. Now. Will you start the business? Will you ask for the opportunity? Will you commit to your vision? Even when it's inconvenient, even when it's hard. Most people say they're waiting for clarity, but clarity comes after the decision, not before it. The moment you decide, your mind sharpens, your questions become clearer, your focus becomes stronger, and even your fears begin to shrink. This is not just about choosing what to do. It's about choosing who you are going to become. And that kind of decision demands courage. Because once you say yes, you also say no. No to comfort. No to the old story. No to excuses. But in that one decision, you step into power. You draw a line in the sand and say, "I am not going back. This is your life, your future. No one else can choose for you. And if you don't choose it, someone else will." So now is the time. Say it, mean it, and move. Because once the decision is made, the only thing left is persistence. Let's continue. Persistence, the eighth principle of success. If decision is the spark, then persistence is the fuel. Without persistence, even the best plans fall apart. Even the clearest goals fade. Even the strongest belief breaks down under pressure. Persistence is the ability to keep going when the feeling is gone, to show up when motivation disappears, to take the next step when no one is clapping, no one is watching, and nothing seems to be working. You've seen this before. The athlete who trains for years before they ever win. The entrepreneur who fails 5 times before they break through. The artist who is ignored until one moment changes everything. None of them won because they never fell. They won because they refused to stay down. Let me tell you a secret. Every great success you admire was once just a person who didn't give up. Persistence is not talent. It's not luck. It's not education. It's a decision, repeated every single day. When it's boring, when it's hard, when it hurts, when it seems unfair, still, you show up. Still, you build. Still, you believe. And little by little, brick by brick, you create what others only talk about. Because the truth is, most people quit too soon. They stop 3 feet from gold. They stop 1 step before the breakthrough. They stop not because they can't win, but because they didn't stay long enough to let the win appear. Persistence is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. So how do you build it? You start by expecting resistance, expect delay, expect doubt, expect fatigue, but commit anyway. You write it down. You remind yourself why you started. You set small goals and celebrate small wins. You surround yourself with people who won't let you quit. And most of all, you keep your mind fixed on the outcome, not the obstacle, because nothing in this world can stop the person who simply refuses to quit. Persistence makes up for mistakes. It overcomes talent. It outlasts critics. It silences fear. And eventually, it makes the impossible inevitable. You have what it takes. You've imagined it. You've planned it. You've chosen it. Now keep showing up for it, over and over, no matter what. Because soon, you'll no longer be chasing success. You'll be becoming it. And there's one more ingredient that will multiply everything we've built so far. Let's discover it. Power of the mastermind, the ninth principle of success. No one succeeds alone. Not Edison, not Ford, not Carnegie, not any person who has ever created something lasting and great. Behind every great achievement is a group, a team, a partnership, a mastermind. So what is a mastermind? It is the coordinated effort of two or more minds working together in harmony toward a definite purpose. And when that happens, something incredible takes place. You create more than just collaboration. You create power, mental, emotional, creative power, beyond what any one person can generate alone. The human brain emits energy, and when two or more minds align, that energy multiplies. Ideas come faster, problems are solved quicker, confidence grows deeper, momentum moves stronger. A mastermind creates accountability. You can't hide, you can't retreat. Your standard rises because the people around you demand your best and offer theirs. But a true mastermind is not just any group. It is built on trust. It is fueled by purpose. It is guided by clarity, and it is protected by harmony. One ego can poison it. One wrong voice can weaken it. So choose wisely. Surround yourself with people who believe what you believe, who see what you see, who want you to win, and are willing to help you get there. Then give them the same in return. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to do everything yourself. But you must be willing to align, to listen, to share, to receive and to give. This is not weakness. This is how strong people move faster, higher, further, together. So who is in your circle? Who challenges your thinking? Who sharpens your vision? Who reminds you who you are when you forget? If your environment drains you, change it. If your conversations distract you, upgrade them. Because no matter how smart or talented you are, your destiny will rise or fall with the people you walk beside. The power of the mastermind is not a bonus. It is a principle, one you cannot afford to ignore. So build yours with care, and as you do, you'll begin to access a deeper force within yourself. A source of energy that, when directed, can transform not just your mind, but your entire life. Let's go there. The mystery of sex transmutation. The 10th principle of success. Human energy is the raw material of all achievement, and the most powerful form of that energy is sexual energy. Now pause for a moment. This is not a topic many people are comfortable discussing in the context of success, but that's exactly why it's misunderstood and underused. Sexual energy is more than physical. It is a creative force. It is desire, passion, drive, intensity. It is the fire that gives birth to life and, when redirected, to great ideas, inventions, empires, and art. Some of the greatest minds in history, thinkers, artists, leaders, had enormous sexual energy. But what set them apart was not that they indulged it. It was that they transmuted it. They learned how to redirect that raw, primal energy towards something higher. That is what sex transmutation means. It is the process of taking energy that is typically expressed physically and lifting it up into the mind and the spirit. It becomes courage. It becomes charisma. It becomes ambition, magnetism, enthusiasm, and leadership. Without transmutation, sexual energy often leads to distraction, obsession, even destruction. With it, it becomes fuel for greatness. So how do you do it? You begin by becoming aware of it. Notice how your energy rises in the presence of attraction. Desire, stimulation. Then, pause. Instead of releasing it instantly, mentally redirect it. Channel it into your work, into your art, into your study, into your movement, into your vision. This is not suppression. This is transformation. And it is available to anyone who chooses mastery over impulse. Most people never learn this. They use their greatest energy only for pleasure and never for progress. But the ones who do learn it become unstoppable. They walk into a room and people feel something. They speak and others listen. They carry presence, power, intensity, and focus. This is not magic. It is mastery. And the more you learn to harness the forces within you, the more you will begin to access levels of performance and creativity most people never touch. Sex transmutation is not about avoiding desire. It's about elevating it, not suppressing passion, but directing it toward purpose. And when you do, your energy changes, your results change, and the world responds. Because people feel the difference between someone who is driven by craving and someone who is driven by vision. You are no longer ruled by instinct. You are guided by intention. And now that you've learned to master the most powerful force within you, it's time to unlock the deepest part of your mind. Let's move forward. The subconscious mind. The 11th principle of success. This is the silent force behind your results. Your subconscious mind is always listening. It records everything you repeat, your words, your emotions, your beliefs, and then, without asking permission, it begins to create from that material. It shapes your habits. It drives your reactions. It influences the way you see the world and the way the world responds to you. It does not sleep. It does not judge. It simply accepts what you give it and acts upon it. You've already been using your subconscious mind every day, every hour. The question is, have you been feeding it with purpose or by accident? Because whether you intend to or not, you are programming your mind constantly. When you say, I can't, when you think, I'm not enough, when you dwell on fear, guilt, failure, your subconscious accepts that message and begins to shape your reality to match. But when you say, I will, when you feel gratitude, hope, strength, your subconscious begins building a very different world. This is why autosuggestion, repetition, and emotion matter so much. They are the language your subconscious understands. The subconscious does not speak logic. It speaks emotion, repetition, impression. So how do you train it? You become intentional about what you feed it. Speak your goal aloud every day. Picture it vividly. Feel the joy, the freedom, the power of achieving it. Now, let your subconscious feel it as real. Because it doesn't know the difference between what is imagined and what is experienced. It simply responds to intensity and consistency. This is where change begins. You cannot change your life without first changing the instructions you've been giving your mind. You can't keep saying, I'm stuck, and expect to move. You can't keep saying, I'm not ready, and expect to grow. You can't keep repeating the language of failure and expect success to listen. You must become the author of your inner story. This is your greatest responsibility and your greatest opportunity. Because when you take command of your subconscious, you begin to shape your destiny. And what comes next takes that to another level entirely. Let's continue. The brain. The 12th principle of success. Your brain is more than an organ. It is a broadcasting and receiving station. It is designed to send out vibrations of thought and to pick up the thoughts of others. You've heard it before. You walk into a room and you can feel tension, even if no one says a word. You meet someone and instantly sense inspiration, anxiety, confidence, or fear. You think of someone and they call you moments later. This is not coincidence. It is energy. Your brain operates on frequency, just like a radio. And the thoughts you think most consistently become your signal, positive or negative, strong or weak, focused or scattered. You are constantly transmitting and attracting on that same frequency. This is how people find aligned opportunities, ideas, partnerships. They're not just lucky. They're tuned in. Their brain is clear. Their thinking is focused. Their belief is strong. So how do you make your brain work for you? First, protect it. Guard what you feed it, the media you consume, the conversations you allow, the emotions you entertain. Second, direct it. Use repetition, autosuggestion, visualization. Speak your goal daily. Picture it clearly. Feel it intensely. This creates a strong, steady signal, one that cuts through the noise of doubt, distraction, and delay. Third, open it. Pay attention to what comes back. Ideas, intuition, new people, unexpected resources. Often, these are responses to the very signal you've been sending out. Your brain is not just a container for knowledge. It is a magnet, a transmitter, a bridge between you and the infinite field of intelligence that surrounds you. So treat it that way. Use it with respect. Train it with discipline. Empower it with belief. Because when your brain is focused, your mind is sharp, and your thoughts are in alignment, you become magnetic. You attract what matches your signal, and you repel what doesn't. And when all of that is in harmony, you unlock something deeper, something you can't quite explain, but you'll know when you feel it. That is what comes next. Let's continue. The sixth sense. The 13th principle of success. This is not magic. It is not superstition. It is the quiet voice that speaks after you've done everything else. It is the sudden clarity that appears when you stop forcing. It is the whisper of insight that breaks through when logic has gone silent. The sixth sense is the channel through which infinite intelligence speaks to you. It cannot be summoned on command. but it can be prepared for. It is the reward of mastering the other 12 principles. Because only when your mind is clear, your body aligned, your belief strong, your vision active, your emotions stable, only then can you hear it. The sixth sense may appear as a hunch, a gut feeling, a flash of intuition, a deep knowing that something is right or wrong, even without evidence. And when it speaks, it is almost always right. Many of history's greatest leaders, creators, inventors, and changemakers relied on it. They trusted it. They didn't always know why, they just knew. And often, it saved time, it saved energy, it saved their mission. You can't force the sixth sense, but you can create the conditions for it to awaken. Through quiet, through reflection, through stillness, through devotion to your purpose, and above all, through trust. You must trust your inner wisdom more than the noise around you. You must believe that there is something within you and beyond you that knows the way, and you must be willing to follow it, even when the path is not visible, because the truth is, the sixth sense is not the beginning of your journey. It is the culmination. It is what arrives when you have done the work, when you have prepared your mind, when you have proven your readiness. It is your reward for growth. And when it arrives, when it whispers, don't ignore it. Pause, listen, and act. That one whisper could change everything. This is where the mind ends, and something greater begins. Let's finish what we started. How to outwit the 6 ghosts of fear. The final barrier. Before true freedom, you've heard them whisper in your mind, I'm not good enough. I'm not ready. It's too late. What if I fail? What if I lose everything? What if I succeed and can't hold on to it? That's not truth. That's fear. And Napoleon Hill called them the 6 ghosts of fear. The fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of ill health, the fear of loss of love, the fear of old age, and the fear of death. They don't have to scream. They just need to whisper, and you'll stop yourself. Fear of poverty keeps you from investing. Fear of criticism keeps you from speaking your truth. Fear of illness makes you live like you're already sick. Fear of loss makes you settle for less than you deserve. Fear of aging makes you stop growing. Fear of death makes you forget to live. But here's the truth. All of them are shadows, and shadows disappear the moment you shine the light of awareness on them. You can't defeat fear with willpower alone. You overcome it with action. Write down what you're afraid of. Look at it. Ask yourself, if this happened, could I handle it? Then answer, yes. And then you move. You act not because fear is gone, but because you've chosen to walk anyway, because you've learned. Every great result lives on the other side of fear. And when you walk through it, you don't just become more successful, you become more free. Free from worry, free from judgment, free from the limits you once believed were real. And in that freedom, you stop living from fear and start living from faith. So name your fear, face it, and move through it. Because everything you need is already within you. We've walked through the 13 principles. And now, you are not just ready to start a new chapter, you are ready to start a new life. You've walked through 13 timeless principles. You've faced your fears, examined your thoughts, challenged your patterns. You've remembered who you are, and perhaps discovered it for the very first time. But now comes the most important truth of all. None of this matters. If you don't act, knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is desire alone won't move mountains, desire backed by decision, belief, action, and persistence to will. You don't need another book. You don't need someone else's approval. You don't need to wait for a perfect time. You already have everything you need. Right now, the question is not whether this philosophy works. It does. It has built fortunes. It has saved lives. It has transformed men and women who had nothing into legends. The only question that remains is, will you use it? Will you stop telling the story of limitation and start living the story of possibility? Will you stop being a prisoner of fear and become the architect of your own life? Will you rise each morning and speak to your mind with purpose? Will you feed it vision, courage, direction, and action? Will you stay committed when it's hard, when it's slow, when it feels like nothing is working, but deep down, you know something is building? That is the real test. Not how inspired you feel right now, but what you do tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that. Success is not a moment. It is a mindset, practiced, lived, and owned. So I leave you with this. Don't wait for the world to hand you permission. You are the writer. You are the voice. You are the power behind the life you're here to build. Think clearly, believe boldly, act courageously, grow intentionally, persist relentlessly, and you will grow rich in mind, in spirit, in purpose, and, if you desire, in wealth. This is your time. This is your turn. Now, begin.